Hello, kia ora, and welcome to the Creative Matters podcast, where we have inspiring conversations with artists from Aotearoa, New Zealand. I'm your host, Mandy Jakic. Hi and welcome to episode 139 with Dita Angeles. Dita was born and raised in Tamaki Makaurau, Auckland. She completed her BFA at Whitecliffe College in 2004 before spending the majority of her career in Asia and more recently Australia. With a strong background in portraiture, social presentation, perception and persuasion are the dominant themes that run through her work. Her paintings are inspired by philosophies and 20th century aesthetics and depict social issues and personal moments that incorporate the spectacle of contemporary culture, paying close attention to behaviour, ego, identity, and anonymity. We have a fascinating, really honest chat about the difficulties of moving to other countries and trying to maintain an art practice, creating new contacts and artistic communities, and then also the challenges of returning to Aotearoa, New Zealand, and again building her community and promoting her work. Dita talks about a very traumatic medical event she experienced in Hong Kong, which left her disabled, and how this has affected her life and her outlook. She speaks of her photographic practice, how important composition is for her, how she has to see something to paint it, and likes to use her own photography or found images for her work. She sometimes uses herself as a subject, but in that case sees herself more as a character playing a role. We talk about her striking upcoming show, Iconograph, which is showing at the Grey Place in Auckland from September the 3rd to September the 14th, 2024. Dita talks in depth about other portraiture series of works, the post-mod wallflowers which she showed at the Auckland Art Show, the Gentlemen's Club referencing the Me Too movement, and her ongoing series Compositions of Identity, which are very thought-provoking cropped images of people at a party in the mid-20th century. We discuss her amazing painting It's Love, which is of New Zealand musician Chris Knox, and is a finalist in the Adam Portraiture Award 2024. And Dita shares how people often don't connect her as the artist of her work, and how anticlimactic it feels for her when she finishes a painting. Hello, Dita.
Hi, Mandy.
It's so lovely to meet you.
Thank you. It's so nice to meet you too.
Thank you. It's just such a treat. You know, like I said to you, just reading so much about somebody and then finally meeting them in person is really special. So a very warm welcome to the Creative Matters podcast.
Thank you very much.
And looking forward to hearing your story. Now, you were born in Tamaki Makaurau, Auckland in 1982.
Mm-hmm. Yes, you're giving away my age.
Yes, I've decided I don't care about ages. We just need to embrace it.
No, that's okay. It's on my bio on my website. So, I mean, it's out there. A lot of people think I'm a lot younger than I am.
Yes, I did read on your Facebook page that somebody asked you for ID.
Yes, and it happened like just a couple of days ago again. It's very normal.
That is insane.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't understand why.
42.
I'm 40. Well, nearly, yes, I'm 42 in about a week. No, 2 weeks.
Right. Yeah, I saw that too. It's nearly your birthday.
It's nearly my birthday.
So you're 41, yes. Still asking, people are still asking
getting
for ID.
Yeah. It's wonderful.
It's wonderful.
Yes.
Go you. So what were you like as a child?
Okay, so I was one of those odd children. I was the youngest of three girls. So I was the younger after the other two. And so, normally you'd expect that the youngest child is the one that they let get away with things. But I don't think that was the case with me. I think I was the one who was a little more like I always had to be put with my sisters, and And I don't know, at school I was kind of, no one really knew which class to put me in, so I didn't really fit anywhere. And I remember I got switched around classes, and then I eventually just got put back in the normal class because they didn't know what to do with me. But I really struggled at school. I never really had very many friends. And so I don't know, I think maybe that's why I'm interested in how social interaction works. I mean, it's always been fascinating to me, probably because of that, because I always struggled to be a part of it. Now I don't struggle to be a part of it, probably because I don't really care as much. Yeah, so I did say that I wanted to be an artist when I was little. And I didn't realize that was actually an option. I thought that was akin to me saying, I want to be a princess when I grow up, just something that you're supposed to say because kids on TV said it.
Mm. And as a child, I mean, I guess possibly if you were feeling like you weren't connecting with other children, was art a little bit of an escape for you?
No, I don't think so. Art was just something that I did. And it's not like I really felt a passion for it back then. It was just something that I could do.
Yeah.
And then I discovered that I could do it well because people told me I could do it well. And it's just a part of me. Yeah. And actually, so moving up to high school, I remember I was like, high school was again the only thing I was good at. I was pretty bad at everything else. From high school, in my last year I got quite depressed, and so I quit. So it was just my last year, and I could have stuck it out, but no, I was a bit of a mess, and I quit. And then I got a terrible job, which was cold calling and commission only, and I moved out of home, and so I didn't really. I had to choose between paying rent or eating food a lot. I always chose paying rent because I didn't want to be an inconvenience to anyone. But then I asked if I could come back home again because I just couldn't manage it. It was not right. And then so I thought that I would actually just go back to high school again. But then on my first day back at this new high school that I went to, which was closer to my house, I walked in and I walked straight out again, and I just couldn't do it. And so I actually wanted to go to high school so that I could go to art school, because all of my grades were just rubbish, and I wanted to at least complete something and get to go to art school and do what I wanted to do. But then, no, I just couldn't go back to school. And on my way home, I checked the mailbox and there was a Whitecliffe prospectus. And so I was like, okay, I'll apply. And I was really worried that I wouldn't get in because I hadn't finished high school. But I went and I got in. And it was just like, wonderful. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
That would have been fantastic and just what you needed, I imagine.
Yes. It was a little bit conspicuous, the timing, It's like I just came out of rejecting another high school, and then, it's in the mailbox. Yeah. Back in the day when things were in mailboxes.
Great timing. So did you go there the following year?
I did, yes. Yeah, it didn't seem to matter that my high school grades were rubbish.
Isn't that great?
Yeah.
Yeah, you must have had a strong portfolio. They wanted you.
Yes, yeah. I hope so.
Yeah, obviously. So how did you find that? Was that an easier environment for you than high school?
Yes, because you're allowed to be an adult. I think high school would be easier if they treated the students like adults rather than children. And I think maybe that was one of the issues that I had being there. Yeah.
And what was your art like? How did you start sort of developing your own practice through Whitecliffe?
Okay, well, in the first year, you basically do a bunch of electives. And so I did a kind of mishmash of different things. And then I forget how I came about doing a piece which had a face, and it was kind of chopped up and put together again, and I quite enjoyed painting that. And I put it in one of the school shows. They just had a little gallery, which I put one of the pieces in, and somebody wanted to buy it, and so yeah, that was good. It was like some validation, and then I guess it felt natural to me to paint faces, to paint people. Some of them were better than others. Some of them were a lot worse than others. But it's just the beginning. And I put works into auctions, and they got like twice the reserve, which I was pleased about. And yeah, just it started that way. I don't think I was a particularly striking student while I was there, but I certainly had the thing that I wanted to do, and it might not have been what the school had wanted me to do. Maybe there was something a little bit more commercial in what I wanted. Not that it's necessarily commercial what I do, but it's not as academic, I guess. Well, typical of academic art. Yes.
But it does seem now that it is quite academic.
Oh yes, yeah. I'm pushing it that way.
Yeah.
Yes,
I can see that. And there's a lot of research and a lot of writing, and you seem to enjoy learning more about that kind of thing, and learning about philosophy and things like that, which are probably affecting your work now.
Yes.
Yeah. So you've kind of grown into that. You were at Whitecliffe in 2004.
Yes.
And halfway through that time, you started your own portraiture practice.
Yes, I started selling my work.
Yeah, which is amazing. And then you left New Zealand in 2006 for Korea. So you finished the degree, and then you went.
Yeah.
Yeah. So why Korea, and why did you want to leave New Zealand?
Okay, it wasn't a matter of wanting to leave New Zealand. It was a matter of going to Korea for personal reasons. So after art school, I had shown in 3 dealer galleries, and so I thought, okay, I'm on my way. I can just go wherever and be an artist wherever. But that's not how it works, actually. So when you change countries, you lose your community, and people in the new country don't care how emerging you were in your old country, unless you're established or invited by, have an introduction. Then you're not really you're not significant, and so it was kind of like I had to start from scratch again, but without having the perks of being part of an institution. And I realized that being part of an institution, like an art school, like that was a shoehorn to get me into the shoe of an arts career, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you had the connections.
Yes. Well, I mean, people, galleries come to look at art school students. They don't come to look at adult artists, people who call themselves artists, who come from, who came straight from another country and have no credentials. Yeah, so
well, that would have been really tough.
Yeah, I lost everyone. It was incredibly difficult.
So what did you do at the beginning with your work?
In the beginning, I tried to I kept doing what I was doing, and I sent a lot of work back to sell in auctions to New Zealand. So that kept on, and I got commissions.
And could you keep in touch with your dealer galleries back in New Zealand?
Well, the thing is, they'd all closed. So yeah, that was a big shame. I think I could have kept in touch had they stayed open, but
and that would have made it a lot tougher.
Yes, yeah. I just sent work back, and I did commissions, and I had a few friends who owned restaurants in Korea, and they were like, "You can put your work up," and I was like, "Cool, okay." And then from that, I eventually got to have a show at the Gyoha Public Gallery, which is in a place called Paju, just outside of Seoul. And it's an enormous gallery, and like I had so much work I could fill it quite nicely. So that was really brilliant.
That's great.
Yeah.
And you managed to actually keep making, even though you felt discouraged about, not being part of that community.
Yes, I think, because it's the only thing I can do. I think throughout my entire life, the only thing I can do is make art. And so it's not about being disheartened, because I will make art, whether I'm disheartened or feeling good or, I think the only thing that would prevent me from making it is having to do other things, which takes my time. Yeah.
Oh, well, you did really well to keep, to maintain that practice. And did you find, you had 10 years in Korea?
Yes.
Did you find that your practice started to gather a little bit of momentum?
Actually, it changed course. I took up photography. So when the last time I took photography was when I was at high school. But then I was gifted several plastic cameras and some chemicals and some tanks. And so I started to learn. I taught myself photography, analog photography. And, I'd had digital cameras before, but I just thought, no, it's too easy. This isn't real art. It's just like, you push a button and there's your art. And I like to work for my art. Of course, this isn't the case. This isn't the case at all with photography, and which I now know. But I had to start with, doing things the laborious way first. And then I did get a proper digital camera. And then I started to shoot like that. And I started to get into portraits, because I was making portraits of paintings, but then I thought, may as well just take the portrait into the photograph rather than to make it a painting, because there are a lot of little nuances in a photograph that would be excruciatingly time consuming if you were to paint them. I like to simplify my paintings. Yes, you can put details in it, but you can't put all the hairy bits in. Whereas with a photograph, you can actually add hairy bits and, you can go really overboard and make it look good. So I went into photography. I did carry on with painting. And then after 10 years in Korea, I moved to Hong Kong, where my studio was a miniature room. And so there's no room to paint. And I did get commissions when I was there. So I did paint, but it really took up the entire room. So I mainly focused on photography.
And were you actually starting to think of yourself as a photographer and selling work?
Yes, yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
And such a great way to kind of just expand your art practice.
Yeah. It's also a good tool for a painter who works from photographs. Because, I always had to take my own photographs to paint from. but you've got a little more control about what kind of photograph you're going to paint from when you're a photographer.
Yeah.
And also the other way, when you are a photographer and you come from painting, you've got a lot of knowledge behind you there. Like you've already got composition down, although composition was something that I considered my Achilles heel, and I will always pay the most attention to it. I hope I'm good at it now.
Yeah. Why is that?
I think somebody told me once that my composition was off.
Really?
And then I overcompensated by correcting it and being obsessed with it. I think I'm a little bit obsessive compulsive. Yes. I actually did get diagnosed with obsessive compulsive disorder, but that was a long time ago.
Really?
Yes.
That's interesting, isn't it? That something could affect you. I mean, it's so understandable, and it happens so often that, just one flippant comment
Yes.
can really affect you. And I wonder what it is about composition that could be off.
Oh, if you get composition wrong, the whole piece is wrong. With some mediums, you can crop it out. Like photography, you can crop it out. But if you're working on a canvas, you're going to have to take that canvas off and hope you've got enough on one edge to make up for how much you're going to move it over. So it's better to get the image, the composition of the image correct first.
And is it like the placement within the canvas?
Yeah. Yes.
Because if it's a one person that you're making a portrait, I just feel like how can the composition be that wrong? But that's just me and not understanding that kind of thing. But is it more just the placement of the actual figure within the canvas, or is it more than that?
It's more than that, I think. And I don't think it has to do with the subject at all. It has to do with the content of the piece. And I think the best way to check your composition is to, if you're, say, working with a digital photograph, zoom out as much as possible until it's really, really tiny, and then you will see whether the composition is correct or not. Or if you're working with a painting, you have to squint your eyes because the dark and light, they contrast. You can see the focal points immediately. You will see where your eye is drawn. But if you look at something full size, you won't get it. Then when it's full size, you get the sense of correctness. But yeah, unless you zoom out or, defocus, or take off your glasses if you wear glasses, or put glasses on if you don't wear glasses, you have to kind of non-see it to get the composition.
That's so fascinating.
Yeah. And it's funny because the subject has really got nothing to do with it. Absolutely nothing. It could be the background. It could be a foot, rather than the face. Or yeah.
So do you find that you see people's portraits and just feel like the composition is off?
Sometimes. I think it would have to be really badly off. Or maybe in a kinder way, I would think about how I would have composed it rather than see it as a negative thing. Because who am I to dictate what good composition is? I mean, I can do that with my works, but with others, that's very different.
Yeah, that's so interesting. So you're in Hong Kong, and did you continue your art practice there, I presume?
Well, I did, but I came into a pickle, a very big pickle, where I stopped being able to walk, and so I found out that I had a skeletal deformity, I guess you could call it. Some people describe it as congenital. Some people describe it as developmental. I have a condition called acetabular dysplasia. So that means that my hips don't hold my legs. And so one of my hips, the soft tissue had torn, and so I just couldn't walk because the soft tissue was the only thing holding my leg on. And so I had to have a pretty grueling double surgery. And it was only supposed to last 3 months before I was, back to being able to do things. And so I never got better after that. My bones didn't heal, and so I was walking around in pieces. And yeah, the surgeon didn't seem to think that there was anything wrong, but other surgeons that I saw, they did. And so the only thing I wanted to do in that time was make work. And my house was very tiny, so I didn't have much space, to do things in, and I just wanted to do whatever I could do. And the people that used to want to make work with me, or give me something to work on, they kept saying, "Oh, well, we'll wait till you get better." And so I never got better. And so after a year, I was still, I was on two crutches for 9 months after the surgery, and then one crutch until I think about a year.
That would have been so traumatic.
It was, yeah. I had cabin fever. I also developed agoraphobia because I was so scared of going out and having my leg break. And so the steel that they used to hold the bones in place, it was only designed to last a year because it was, supposed to be out by then.
And the bones were supposed to fuse.
Yeah. And I was just terrified. Yeah.
I don't blame you.
It was really terrible.
Oh, you poor thing. That is a big thing to go through.
It is, yeah.
Yeah, it's huge.
It's part of me, though. And it was torture, but I don't regret what happened to me because it's part of me, and I use it. And you also figure out your priorities, and you also figure out who your friends are.
Yeah.
Yeah. A lot of them, they just disappeared.
Really?
Yes.
Oh, they wouldn't have been the best friends for you then.
No.
Yeah.
Fair weather friends.
That's tough though, isn't it?
Yeah.
That would have made it even harder.
Yes, yeah. So I really struggled to make work, but I did everything that I could. And so I did trickle through a couple of pieces after that.
And then you moved to Australia. You ended up in New Zealand, obviously, last year in 2023.
Mm-hmm.
So how did you go in Australia? What happened there?
So Australia, I moved there because of my visa ran out in Hong Kong. And, have to go. And I had family connections in Brisbane. So I went there, and the weather was lovely. I adore the weather in Brisbane. And so I thought that I would just get straight in, and it would be easy for me to continue. And I made a lot of work, and I put it out for people to see. And I think people were kind of like, "Oh, that's nice," and that was about it.
Really?
People weren't excited about what I did in the beginning. I started to make a lot of paintings, which I would spend quite a long time making. Like I made them quite detailed. Like you know one of them.
Yes.
So I would put some of these into competitions, and I started to get into competitions. and that was pretty good. I also had a photograph which went into it was a finalist in the Brisbane Portrait Prize. And I did quite well with competitions that are run by Lethbridge Gallery. There's the Clayton Utes Art Award and the Lethbridge 20,000. And so I was either finalist or highly commended in these shows. So I was pretty chuffed about that.
That's great.
But what was really interesting about Australia was that I started to get, all of this attention for the competitions, but I never had such trouble selling my work. I never at all in my whole life. It was near impossible to sell anything.
Really?
And so I started to think okay, I had to think really hard about what to do. And I tried to get into, of course, galleries, they're not interested in me because, I don't come in with any credentials from other galleries. And so I tried to do the self-represented artist thing and pay a bit more attention to social media. And I spent a lot of time trying to, watching tutorials and reading, tips about how to promote your art career on social media. And I spent a long time doing this. And I got to the point where, yes, I did get a few more followers. I did try to be diligent by implementing this. But the followers that I got, they didn't really seem to count for much.
They may not necessarily be your collectors.
No, they were just people who, I got a lot more likes than I got followers. But the likes were just some of the likes that I got just made me feel dirty somehow.
Yeah.
Because I did actually try, to pay Instagram for them to spread it, and then you'd get a like on that, and then you'd just feel dirty. You had your enjoyment and you liked it, and I'm still without money, and
you're still not buying my work.
And so I just felt quite revolted at some point by what it takes to participate in social media to the extent that they recommend you do to promote yourself. I had to take away so much time from actual, work to make posts. And then I thought, I'm not going to do this anymore. But I used what I learned to look at social media in another way as a subject. So this is how I came up with my exhibition, Iconograph.
And Iconograph is the title for your upcoming show, which is at the Grey Place, and that starts on the 3rd of September.
Yes.
Which is just, I think, a day after this podcast will be released.
Oh, fantastic.
Yes. Which will be really exciting to have a little bit of background before your show so people can listen and then go and enjoy the work. And that runs till September the 14th.
Yes.
Solo show, which is very exciting. So you have shown this show or part of this show at Studio One Toy 2?
I did. It was a very short exhibition because that was when I just arrived in New Zealand, and I thought I have to start by getting out there and showing something. And I couldn't find a space that, places that took proposals. Because I was too late. And so I thought I'll just rent the top room in there, which was a gorgeous room, and it looked fantastic. But it was a bit expensive for a short amount of time. Yeah. And because I was so fresh in the country, not many people came. It was so it's kind of like it hasn't been seen before.
Yeah, I feel like that for sure. So I haven't really asked you to describe your work, and you do have, it's all portraiture, but you do have different series sort of within that, which we can talk about. But could you just describe perhaps the works in that iconograph series?
Okay, so iconograph, they are what you could call photorealistic black and white oil paintings. They're not anatomically correct because I have, exploited the bodies for the sake of composition. As you know, that's important to me.
Yes.
And so the show is about my regurgitation of how I see we are supposed to see social media. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And so the concept, iconograph, the word itself exists already. It means a picture that is made with a word, but I'm not using it in that sense. I'm using it in the celebrity kind of star
Icon
sense.
Yeah.
And also the iconography sense. So it's kind of a mash between the two, because the way that we see social media influencers is kind of like we put them on a God level. A lot of the world is quite secular now, but I guess they have to put their praise somewhere, so they put it onto stars and celebrities and icons, and so it's playing on that.
Can you tell us about how you choose the people for each of the works? Where are they from? Are they from your imagination, or have you found them somewhere?
They're not from my imagination, because I can't do that, actually. I have to see something to paint it. So they are my friends who very kindly accepted to be uncredited as anonymous models. It's very important that they're not represented as themselves, because the anonymity is really part of the show. You know how with social media influencers, you might have one that's really big 1 week, and then the next week that person's disappeared and there's someone else. So it's kind of hard to recollect. They may as well not have an identity. They all kind of merge into each other.
Yeah.
So I wanted to put a stress on the anonymity with that. So yeah, it was an agreement that my friends would not be noted. I mean, some people recognize them.
Yeah.
I also had to use myself at some point.
Yes, I thought you had.
Yes, but I am performing an anonymous character. So yeah, that's okay.
Yeah, you're in a different role.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they are so striking, the black and white, and it's quite iridescent white, isn't it? Which is
it is,
amazing.
yeah.
I can't wait to see them in person.
So the iridescent white, that was a really tricky paint to work with. I decided that I wanted to use that to mimic to kind of, what do you call it? Signal the gold leaf, the metallic backgrounds, and the what they would use in traditional iconography. And the metal, the precious metal that they use, is designed to sublimate the icon into a higher realm, to make sure that that they're not down there with you. They're better than you.
Yeah.
They're special.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
yeah, that's really effective.
Yeah.
And the black and white, or the sort of the big bold lines behind the actual person, some of that feels like a halo, or feels like it's kind of connecting to old school religious paintings.
Yeah.
Yeah. What are you thinking with those lines?
Well, I've been calling them God rays, and there are halos too. And it's funny, the motif of the rays coming out around a person's head has been something that I've always really stuck with. I've always loved, like an old Mickey Mouse cartoons, or Olive Oyl when she's screaming to get away from Bluto. There would be little surprise lines that come out of the head, so it's like an expletive. And I quite like that, and I also like how you can use it as the God factor, the focal point, the star. This is the thing to look at. But I think it's quite interesting how I'm always drawn to these.
Yeah.
So I've worked them in there as well, but I've made them a bit more formal by putting them into quasi iconographic sense. Yes.
Yes, and it's so effective, and they've all got those lines so that it all feels incredibly cohesive. And then the poses, they kind of feel like, selfie poses that you see on Instagram, which is so sort of, weird in a way, that people are always photographing themselves and striking these unusual poses.
Yes, they look funny in person, but on the camera they look they have an effect.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, which is really interesting, isn't it?
Yeah.
And then the black leather jackets, most of them have got leather, wearing leather. What does that signify?
So this is about branding and sponsorship, and the desire for sponsorship. A lot of influencers, they might not be sponsored, but they will wear, say, the clothes of a designer, so that, and then they'll tag the designer, and they will get attention. Well, they hope to get attention from the designer in hopes that they might get, monetization, or, might get something out of it, or at least to associate themselves with the brand, so that they appear to be affiliated.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the sunglasses, there is one that has multiple sunglasses.
Yeah, there are a couple like that.
Yeah.
The sunglasses are really important because they these represent the screens, the devices, the post-production filters that we see the influencer through. And so the influencer, I should be using the word icon. I've been calling them icons in the show, which is resembling the influencer.
Yeah.
But the icon doesn't exist without like in real life. The icon is just a normal person in real life. So it only becomes the icon by being filtered through lenses and screens and post-production filters. And this actually makes this level of separation, we can never know this person. There's something to strive for, to strive towards. Yes.
But we don't see their true self.
No, we only see...
Is it like a manufactured character almost?
Well, yes, they would be manufactured. Yeah. Yeah.
They are such incredible works. I can't wait to see them on opening night. So what is it, on the 3rd opening?
It's on the 3rd, yes. And I actually went and laid out the show with Jade at the Grey Space yesterday. And it already looks mind-popping. I'm very pleased with it.
It would look amazing. You've got that blue couch of the Grey Place.
Yes.
I love that couch.
Yeah.
Oh, that's quite fascinating. We'll talk about your actual painting process in a minute. But can we talk also about another series which is called the Postmod Wallflowers?
Yes.
Which have a similarity with the use of black and white and line and leather and sunglasses. Mm-hmm. So can you tell us about that series?
So this series, the Postmod Wallflowers, I made this series after following my iconograph series after a big gap where I just focused on photography. But anyway, that's another thing. So when I arrived in New Zealand, I wanted to get involved in as many things as possible so that I could reinitiate myself in the community. And I saw that the Auckland Art Show was advertising places for 2024. So I got back last year, by the way. I really like the look of my iconograph show. I was so pleased with that. It's not usual, not normal. It's different. And I wanted to stick with my different and kind of go on that tangent and follow it through a little bit more. And so for the Auckland Art Show, I was thinking about, like, what am I going to make with this? And I decided I want to make something that looks cool. And I like the mod era. And the mod era is very, cool and slick. And so I'm going to do something like that. And then I thought about the mods of the 1960s mod era and how they were very obsessed with fashion, let's say. And they spent an enormous amount of money buying clothes from Europe, continental Europe. And meanwhile, they had heavy socialist tendencies and ideals. So there's kind of a dichotomy between, the consumerism that they had, which I matched with the consumerism of the Auckland Art Show. It's a place where you go to buy art. It's not exactly like a museum. You go there because things are on sale.
Yeah.
And you can get a good deal and whatever. But so I wanted to use this consumerism and mash it with ideology of the unity of a group. And so I made this series of it's 30 faces, and they are Asian women, and they're arranged in 1960s mod attire, and they have backgrounds which vary using mod motifs in the black and white high contrast, which is it comes from iconograph. Well, it spans off iconograph, and so I've put voids in the sunglasses that they're wearing. Of course, they're wearing sunglasses again. I have a connection with sunglasses too, an affinity, I should say. But I wanted to make these subjects anonymous, and the background can either be seen through the lenses of the glasses, or it's been reflected, or it's something compositionally complementary.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like the environment is applying the personality to the anonymous subject. So they're all unique. They're all different, and they're all a group, and they all look very good together.
Yeah, they look amazing together.
As a clump, it's like quite a stylish wallpaper.
Yeah, it's like a grid that's all very close together.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're really striking.
And so my idea was that as people would come through the art show and they would buy pieces, they would take their favorite piece, and that would leave a void on the wall. It would be an eyesore somehow. It would be the symbol of, the crumbling, the demise of that ideology. But meanwhile, the rest of the wallflowers, they would stand true. They would be united, and they would still look good together. And then, shame on the defector for going off to the better life. And actually, a lot of people, they wanted to buy a piece, but they couldn't bring themselves to take a piece away.
Really?
Yes, it was very funny. It's like defacing. It's like defacing the series by buying an individual work. And I made a point of making the works individual and for sale, and tempting them to
Take
buy
one
them.
away.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's so fascinating.
Yeah. So
Isn't
the
that
ideology kind of wins. Only 3 pieces sold. And they all went to one couple. They're very lovely people, and I'm sure that they have a better life there.
And it's nice that they're together.
It's nice that they're together, yeah. So they still have a little bit of solidarity going.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love that idea.
And I actually, I called the show, I called the collection the Postmod Wallflowers, because I thought, well, people are going to be buying things here, and what if none of my work sells, and then that it'll just be left on the wall? And so I may as well just make, something pretty so that it looks nice on the wall. Like the wallflower, the girl at the party who doesn't get asked to dance.
Doesn't get noticed.
Yeah. But then, all the wallflowers, when they're sitting together, they have this unity.
Power.
They have power. Yeah.
I love that concept. It's so clever. And I guess, selling that as one piece somewhere, getting the right environment for all of those works to be shown together on a wall would be amazing as well.
It would, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I would be happy to re-show it, but I think, there was a conceptual value that was a part of the Auckland Art Show. Because as much as the works, as the series looks amazing as one entity, it had to be broken. The idea was to challenge the idealism. Yeah.
And you have red edges on that one. Does that represent anything in particular?
Well, okay, the color palette. I like to think of it like, the Soviet block prints. There was a lot of red that they used in those, and of course black and white. So this kind of mimics the communist ethic. Of the equality and the unity, and
very striking.
defecting.
Yeah.
Yeah. But mind you, it did also come from a tangent off of iconograph, because these works have red edges too. And that is for a very different reason.
Okay.
So in iconograph, the red edges come from traditional iconography, where you have the alpha line, which is the line that is used to begin a painting, a traditional icon painting. So this is a red line, it's applied first. And then there's an omega line, which is the last line that gets applied. But for very postmodern reasons and revisiting the past and re-referencing the past, I have chosen to omit the omega line in that one. So, yeah. Sorry about bouncing back and forth.
No, it's really interesting. And they're also so connected, aren't they, really?
Oh, yeah, they're really connected.
Yeah, so it makes sense to kind of bounce around for
yeah.
sure.
It's actually difficult to talk about them in a linear way.
Yeah. Oh, it's good. I mean, we don't have to be lineal at all. And it is amazing to me that you came back, you changed, you moved to another country and all of those changes, and you still managed to create these large bodies of work, which I know take you a long time. Yeah. And you organise these shows to show your work, which is incredible. And then you also have done that Compositions of Identity series and the Gentlemen's Club, which I find both very fascinating also. So can we talk about those ones?
Sure, yes. Okay, I'll talk about the Gentlemen's Club first, because that one is already made. So this one was the first piece that I made when I came to New Zealand. And I made it because I had been wanting to make it for a while. And it's about the Me Too movement. So that piece is 18 corporate portraits, and they're paintings, and they're black and white again because I'm really keen on black and white. And instead of being all righteous, all of the men look terribly distressed and upset and traumatized. And so this fits with the Me Too movement because, not only women are the victims, and I'm not trying to say that men are the victims here, or, like aggressors are victims. But I'm trying to, not really put an angle on on who these men are, what they may have done, but that there is a distress on men from this movement.
And they're not necessarily the aggressors.
No, they might be, and they might feel bad about it, which is why they feel, which is why they're traumatized.
Yeah.
Maybe they realized what they did, but maybe they've been falsely accused, and that could be life ruining. So it's just kind of interesting.
It's really interesting, and it's another angle that really is very rarely explored or talked about.
Yes, yeah. I worry a lot that by talking about it, I'm sure that there would be some people who think that I'm taking sides, but actually it's a very neutral. It's a neutral work.
Yeah.
I go out of my way to not take sides in my works because I mentioned earlier about my childhood. I kind of struggle to fit in with people, so I feel like I don't really have any right to comment on other people, but I can see them.
Yes.
I can see that they're distressed. I don't have to comment on it, but I can make you think about it.
Yeah, and it is. I think it is something that when you're looking at that series, that as you say, people would really kind of think like, where are these emotions coming from, and
yes,
and how are these people involved, or what are they reacting to, or it's actually, there's a lot of depth to that, and it's such an unusual idea to take that traditional sort of corporate portrait type feel, and taking it to a different place where the men haven't got that corporate mask on.
Yeah,
they are showing a bit of rawness and a bit of of them, and not necessarily a positive way.
Yeah,
which is quite fascinating.
I would love to find a place that will show this work because it is so sad. It's so powerful,
very powerful
and sad.
Yeah,
I don't think people like happy things or like positive things, but so I hope one day I can find a place where I can exhibit this piece because it's
I think
something.
you will, for sure.
Yeah.
You just got to find that right fit.
Yes.
And I think it is important work. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I was really happy to make that.
Yeah, well done.
Thank you very much.
How do you perceive that kind of series would be sold? And do you think that somebody would want to own a man who looks like he's struggling?
I'm not sure. I don't know. I know that I would like to put it up on my wall, but then I think it's my baby, so of course I'd want to put it up.
But they're so beautifully painted. They're
thank you.
masterpieces. So that in itself, but also I think it would be such a great conversation starter.
I stopped thinking about people buying my work because it's just not happening. I just need to make it, of course I it'd be great if somebody bought something.
I can actually imagine that whole series
Yeah.
being in a collection.
Yeah.
You know.
But with all of my pieces, like I don't think about saleability when I make it. And I think if I did, I would ruin it. Or it would be normal, or, you know, not, it wouldn't be special somehow. Yeah.
But it's so great that, I mean, aren't artists incredible beings? It's like you have such passion and such, it's so much a part of you, what you do. Even if you can't make any money at times, you carry on. And,
Yes.
and not just you, like all of us.
Yes.
And
I don't know how I live. I don't know how I'm
Yeah.
alive. I don't know how I made it this far. I don't know. I just is.
yeah, and you have to do it. And you've never considered finding a part-time job to go alongside?
I would struggle with that these days.
Yeah, you would.
Because I have a shelf life with how much I can do physically. And so, you know, painting, I can do that, and I
Yeah.
can do it well.
Yes.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
I don't know, a lot of other jobs, you know, especially in the art environment, they're physical, you know.
You're standing.
Yeah, or standing, and
Yeah.
So I'll just see how I go with this.
But I admire you for what you're doing.
Thank you. No,
Yeah.
I think I'll get somewhere.
You will.
Yeah.
And it must be tough coming back into a country and building your connections again from scratch, basically.
Yes. Yeah.
And building your community and connecting with other artists.
Yes. Yeah. I've been going out of my way to have coffee with as many artists as will accept. And it's lovely. Yeah. It's really lovely.
So anyone listening who would love to meet Dita, get in touch.
Yes.
On Instagram, within reason.
Within reason, yes.
Yeah, other artists. I mean, you know, that, and just being invited to, you know, openings or going along to openings is a great way to build that community.
It is, yeah.
Yeah, and, you know, I'm definitely going to come and support you, and hopefully some of the listeners will as well, with your next show, which, as I said, starts next week. Or starts this week, actually.
Tomorrow.
Yeah, tomorrow, which is amazing. So, I think it's absolutely worth supporting. And, you know, I guess you're on a bit of a journey, and you'll look back at this time and think, wow, that was tough, but, you know, I got there.
Yeah.
I'm sure you will.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think what I really want to do is just show people and blow them away.
Yes, which you would.
Is that a bit arrogant?
No, your paintings are insanely incredible.
It's very difficult to get people to look at them. I think that when people meet me, I don't look like the kind of person who is a painter or an artist, or, you know, maybe I look like someone who is on Instagram, or I don't know. It's
An
just
influencer yourself.
Yeah, but there's always disbelief when
Really?
people see my work. Yeah,
I wonder why.
I don't know why. It's commonly thought of as being someone else's work, you know, when I'm around it, and then people are terribly surprised when they find out that I made it.
That's quite fascinating. I'd love to know why.
Yeah. I think it's because we stereotype people. I mean, you know, stereotype is a bad word, but maybe we type people, and, you know, it comes from pattern recognition, and, you know, we have to have that, so we know what to expect, and we can, you know, behave in the most appropriate manner when we meet people. But I think I just throw people off. Yes.
What do you think people are expecting in the artist of your work?
A man.
You think?
Yes, because a man is frequently the person who is mistaken for being the artist of it.
Really?
Yes, I won't go into which man, but
I wonder why people feel like a man has made it. I mean, it's strong work, and maybe people are, stereotyping again.
I mean, it's not feminine, but I don't know. It doesn't. To me, there doesn't seem to be a gender in it.
No, I don't feel like there is.
But then I wasn't looking for a gender in it.
No.
And, it's too close to me, so I can't see it. Yeah, I'm not sure.
It's interesting, isn't it, to talk about that kind of thing.
Yeah, I would love to know why.
Yeah.
I have no idea.
Yeah, it's very interesting. So the Compositions of Identity, that's a series that is ongoing.
It is, yes. I'm still working on that. I had to put it on the back burner while I arranged the show, Iconograph. But I'll be getting back to that once this is done. So this is another 30 paintings. And they are crops of bodies, of people from the late 1950s and early 1960s, in the throes of social lubrication at a party. I made an artwork for the Artists in Eden Day by the Eden Arts Trust. And so, you have to go there and finish a painting in front of people, and then they auction your work. So the piece that I made, it has to be related to Mount Eden. So I found a public domain image of a woman who was at the Crystal Palace in 1959. And she had the most magnificent pose and dress and very simple jewelry. And so I thought I want to paint her because her demeanor is like what I imagine Mount Eden would be if she were personified as a woman. And so I made this piece and I liked it. People liked it. It sold. So I really liked the idea of how it worked without having her head. She had no head, by the way. I didn't mention that. I chopped off her head, not for any real reason other than courtesy, because it's, from the not too far away past. She could be somebody's grandmother or, mother. I don't think she'd still be alive. But, she's someone, her family is around.
Yeah.
And so I wanted to, not have to deal with that. And then I liked how it worked without having the head, because you could put an identity on who she was, even though her identity was gone. And so I've taken this a little further, and so I'm thinking with the compositions of identity. Jean-Paul Sartre, he has this theory of the other. So when you're being looked at, I mean, you're being taken apart and judgments are being formed about who you are. And even, with your identity removed, the way that you behave, the way that you dress, who you are around and what you're holding, and all of these things are your identity. Because actually, identity is just, you can't have identity unless you have the other. If you don't have the other, then you have the self, which is very different. Yeah. I mean, they're related. I really love this topic. So I wanted to just remove pieces of people, and you can still figure out who they are. Yeah. Actually, you can make more of a story about what's going on.
That's right.
With less.
It's actually, they're really clever and they're very thought-provoking, and sometimes they are single people and sometimes there's like a couple interacting.
Yes.
Which is, when you have them from the shoulders down or the chin down to about their waist mostly, isn't it? It just makes you look at different things in a way.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is really interesting. And then you kind of start to tell your own story as you look at them.
Yeah. You can make whatever you want. And that's what it is.
Yeah.
Because you are the other. And the other is the audience.
Yes. Yeah, I love that. And they're black and white as well.
Yes. And these have a black edge as opposed to a red edge.
Okay.
I thought they need to be black and white because, it's very, that time it was very cool and,
they wouldn't
black and white
colour.
photos. Yeah.
It feels right for the era you're representing.
Yes.
And Dita, you are a finalist in the 2024 Adam Portraiture Award with your beautiful painting of Chris Knox.
Yes,
who
I
is
am.
one of New Zealand's legends in music. Can you tell us about that?
Yes. So I know Chris from a long time ago. I painted him hundreds of times in art school for my end of year graduation project. And so I know his face inside and out. And then when I came back to New Zealand, I knew that I wanted to enter the Adam Portraiture Award. And I thought it's going to help if if the subject is somebody that is well known. And I think Chris was probably the only well-known person that I do know. And so I tracked him down, which was a little difficult because he's a little bit offline these days. And so I managed to get to ask if he would participate, and he was really excited about it. And yeah, it was really lovely. So I went over to his house and I took photos of him. And it was really shocking for both of us because the last time that we had seen each other, we were both able-bodied. And then meanwhile, he's had this debilitating stroke. And I had my hip incident. And so we're kind of looking at each other, feeling sad for each other. And
empathizing.
And empathizing, yeah. And so that was something. But when you get down to conversing with Chris, he's exactly the same as always. He's just amazing. And he's such a brilliant performer as well. So I told him what I wanted him to do, which was to hold a guitar, basically. That was the brief, hold the guitar. And I think he got exactly what I was going for, which was a very emotional, nostalgic portrait with him kind of reuniting with his beloved guitar, which he can no longer play. And so because since the stroke, half of his body is affected, and the afflicted side is really at peace. But meanwhile, the side of his face is okay, and his arm, like there's so much tension in there because he's gripping that guitar with everything he's got, and it's just an amazing kind of dichotomy between the two halves of this, ability and non-ability, and the love and the nostalgia and all that. Yeah.
Oh, it's such a beautiful, beautiful painting. And it's been shown in Wellington and is currently being shown in Taranaki.
In Taranaki, that's right.
And then it comes to Auckland in February next year.
That's right, yes. So keep an eye out for that.
Yeah, that's at Pa Homestead. Yeah. So that'll be a great show to see.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, that's awesome. Okay. So I'm quite fascinated to hear about your process, Dita, especially how you manage black and white.
Okay.
So can you unpack your process a little bit for us?
Okay, I'm not going to get too much into the technique because that's, the chef's special. But basically, I decide on an idea, and you have to do that first. Like, you can't do anything without an idea. I tried once and nothing happened. So you make your idea, and then you need a picture. And I would normally take my own photographs to make a picture, except in the case of, recently, like compositions of identity. These are real photographs from a party. Also, the Gentlemen's Club and the postmod wallflowers are AI generated, which is really difficult to get because I'm kind of a control freak. So I need to get what I'm thinking about, and getting what you're thinking about from AI is nearly impossible.
Yeah.
I mean, you will get something wonderful, but it's not what you're thinking. So I spent like 2 weeks making a prompt, trying to get, the right thing. You can always Photoshop it later into what you want, which is good. And, I'm pretty okay with Photoshopping things in. So then you make an image. You have to decide what format it is, what medium it is, like if it's a photograph or a painting. Typically these days I like paintings because I don't like how AI is... I feel like I'm in competition with AI, and AI is going to win based on the kind of photographs that I would make. I mean, of course, once in a while I'll make some more photos, but at the moment I'm into painting.
It is quite scary where AI is going, and it's actually good to hear of somebody using AI in a positive way as part of their process.
Oh, it's a wonderful tool.
Yeah.
It's an absolutely brilliant tool, and nobody should be scared of it so long as you're using it as a tool. I mean, you don't want it to be using itself.
Yeah.
When it's using itself as a tool, that's something else. But, if you're using it, then that's fine, and you are responsible. Yeah.
Yeah.
Then I print out my image, and then I have to draw it onto my surface. And I spend a while doing that. And I go very nearly blind drawing because I have to keep looking at all of the different nuances and like separations between tones. I draw everything. And then I have a great big event where I paint the base coat. And that typically has to be done in one go. And it's very grueling. And I go blind from doing that again because, I mean, I don't literally go blind, of course. But when you look at something so often, for hours on end, when you look at it, you can't see it anymore. And it's like, when you say the word fudge 100,000 times, you forget what fudge is. It's the same thing, yeah. So at the end of 6-8 hours, then you have no idea what you're looking at. And you can go and watch TV because that's something different, but you can't do anything else with the painting. And then when you come back the next day to do the retouching, you can see all of the blasphemous mistakes that you made. And there will be a lot of mistakes, even though you think that you did it really perfectly the first time. But the thing is, like, with the human body, the human ability, no matter how perfect you're doing something, you will always get something wrong. And then if you just keep piling on corrections, and then you will ruin something when you correct it. But overall, it will be better. And then, like, every day I go back to the painting, I do something at the beginning, and then I'm like, what have I done? And then I spend the rest of the day fixing it. And at the end of the day, it looks so much better than it did at the beginning of the day before I fudged it up. And so, like, you really have to destroy, but, like, carefully, with a goal in mind. You have to destroy it with your intention of making it better, and then make it better. So then I will just edit my works over a few days or 3 months. I like 3 months for a period to make a painting.
Wow.
It's pretty good. Yeah.
It's a long time.
it is a long time, but it's important, especially with the multi-panel works, 30 paintings over 3 months. That's like, what, three days a piece. Yeah. And you can get into a flow
and you have all the paintings in a series going at the same time?
Well, yes, I do, because so I would do all of the drawing at once, and then I would do all of the base coats, and then I would do all of the editing. If I were to go from start to finish with the first piece, the piece at the end of the series would look very different, because even though I've been doing this for 22 years, and I've got my technique down, I am still changing. My technique still changes, and I think that's good. But I've identified that, and I want to have some consistency. So you have to do everything in layers. Yeah.
It's really interesting. Yeah, you work on linen and board sometimes, and canvas, and sometimes you stretch your own canvases.
Yes, I'm trying to cut back on stretching my own canvases, because I get sore hands more and more when I do it. And it's also, depending on if I have a table to do it on, that's okay. But if doing it on the floor, I'm not really able to get onto the floor. And, with physical things, I have limitations. Yeah. So I try not to do these things. But thankfully I still have a lot of surfaces from a long time ago. They're just waiting for me to use them. So it's good.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's a good position to be in. And how do you feel when you finish your work?
Okay. There's a huge anticlimax. Enormous. Which you don't notice so much if you overlap your works. So that's very good. And actually, the real anticlimax comes after you've exhibited your work, because then it's gone and it's not going to be seen, at least for a long time, until the next, if it has a next time. So that's very anticlimactic. Yeah, I think it's very sad. And it's fidgety. It's like, oh, right, so what am I going to do? And then then you're trying to think about what to do. And that's a really bad way to come up with ideas. If you try to think, you won't think. You can only do think. Sorry about the grammar. It works though.
Yeah.
Yeah. But writing is good. If you write, then you don't have to think while you're writing, contrary to popular belief. You just decide what to write about and then force yourself to write. And, you have to make your mistakes, and then something will come out of that. So yeah, coming up with the next idea is a thing. It's not problematic, but it can be distressing sometimes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Especially when it's been a while since you've had an idea. Yes. But there are so many occasions when you just come up with ideas willy-nilly, and you have to write them down immediately. Like, you have to excuse yourself from the conversation, get your notebook, and write it down in great detail. Like, don't reduce anything. Don't cut corners. Just write every single thing down. Then you can come back to it later. But preferably you start making it immediately. But and then that could be something that you're overlapping with something else.
Yeah.
But
it's often hard when it's like you have to have enough sort of clarity in your head to start forming ideas and where you're going to next. And sometimes doing something else can help with that.
Yeah, that doing something else is good. But I don't necessarily agree that you need clarity. I think that having a mess is good. Like when when you have a mess, you can see what needs tidying. But when you don't have anything, you don't know what to do, like that blank canvas. So I think you just have to distract yourself and just put as much rubbish in as possible. All good stuff.
And then sort it out.
And then you can see exactly what needs sorting out.
Yeah, true. We are going to get to the questions. What would you say to your younger artistic self?
I would say kindly disregard everyone who says they're going to buy your work. The people who buy your work, they don't announce it. They don't rattle their saber. They just cut. Yeah, that's it. That was what always got me up and then put me back down so drastically. People are nice in general. They're caring. They want to say something nice to you. They want to encourage you. They don't have any idea that they're setting you up for a big letdown by telling you that they want to buy your work. And it's probably 90% not going to happen. So as tempting as it is to think that they will, it's no.
No.
If I had $1 every time, I'd have a lot of dollars.
Yeah, that's interesting. That's something that nobody's actually said that in that question. I think that's so true, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, you have to be very careful of that.
Yeah, it's really gutting, when they, and especially when they unfriend you after they told you that. And, it's because they feel so guilty that interacting with you in the future reminds them
they failed to buy.
That they didn't come through and they can't tolerate seeing you anymore, and you lose a friendship. And it's just so, advice to friends of artists: don't tell them that you're going to buy their work. Just buy it, or not.
Or
and it's
up.
okay if you don't want to buy it.
Yeah.
And
what do you feel is one of the biggest challenges for you as an artist?
Okay, that's it's definitely losing community every single time I move country. Moving country without an introduction to the next is extremely difficult. That's definitely it. I mean, of course, I've got my physical limitations, which makes things extraordinarily difficult too. I mean, it's much more of an ordeal for me to go to an opening and get around a big gallery. I used to take my wheelchair, but people don't talk to you if you're in a wheelchair.
Really?
Yeah, they think that they will. If you ask them, would you talk to a person in a wheelchair? They will say yes, and they believe it. But no, maybe not. They might not. I mean, I don't think that I have a smell keeping people away from me, or
that would be really difficult.
Yeah,
it's hard to imagine.
Yeah, you only notice it when you go through it.
That would be very challenging. And do you see yourself as a little bit of a role model for other people who have disabilities?
I don't think I'm a very good role model. I think I'm too much of an anomaly. I don't participate in life the way that normal people participate in life. Too many weird things have happened to me. Like, how could I be?
I think you're a role model because of the way you present yourself on social media. You often have your stick in the picture, which you could actually push away because you're on a chair if you wanted to. But
I love my stick.
Yeah, and I feel
people
like
remember me since I got a stick.
Well, I feel like you're embracing the stick, and you are like, this is me, this is my disability, this is what I'm doing, this is what I'm making. It feels like you're a powerful, strong woman who's putting it out there that, I can do this.
Thank you. That's really kind. And I can do it. It just takes me a bit longer.
Yeah, exactly. And you are doing it.
Yeah. And yeah, I've done it. Yeah.
Yeah. And look what you've achieved since you've been back in New Zealand,
Yeah,
Amazing. These beautiful series of work and shows, So I think you should give yourself a bit of a pat on the back.
Thank you. I will.
Please do. And why do you make the kind of work that you make?
Okay. It's because I am never really satisfied with what exists in the world. And when I think of something that I wish there was, I'm the only one who can make it. And I need to make it so that it exists, so that I can be satisfied with something. And I don't want to make it sound like I disregard everything else. I mean, there are just amazing artworks and, people and situations and wonderful things in the world. But for me, there is no value apart from, there's incomparable value with work that I make. I don't know. I think of it and it needs to exist, and I'm the only one who can do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. How does it feel being back in New Zealand now?
I have noticed it's very, it's much smaller than what I'm used to here.
Yeah, I can imagine.
So I really miss big cities. I really, really miss big cities. And it's not like when I was in big cities, I went out and did big city things. I just, stayed at home and worked. But it feels different. And it feels small here. And it's nice. There are things that I love. Like, there are amazing things here that I love. But yeah, I think everywhere I go, I will plant my roots there and miss it when I'm not there. You know? I missed New Zealand when I wasn't in New Zealand.
It is. It's a very small art world here.
It's microscopic.
Yeah, I do wonder if you could keep those connections in South Korea and Hong Kong and Australia, and maybe build, or become connected to galleries over there while you're here. Do you think that could ever work?
That would be nice. I think I would have to make a connection with the galleries from their tendrils that come to New Zealand first, because actually one of the rudest surprises I ever faced in my life, going to Korea, and you tell people that you're an artist and they refuse to believe you because you are not a famous artist. So because if you're a foreigner in Korea and you are not a famous artist affiliated with a Korean gallery, with an exhibition or something, what are you doing there? You must be an English teacher. And so it's like, no, I'm not. I'm an artist. And it just took so long to convince people that I was an artist. It was nearly impossible. Yeah, It was ridiculous.
All right, well, that brings us to a close, Dita. It's been such a lovely time with you. Thank you very much for coming out to Muriwai. And thank you for being so honest and authentic and really talking your truth and expressing things that are really important to you. I've got so much admiration for you and what you've achieved, and I feel like you're going to go so far in New Zealand, and I hope everybody can get along to your show from the 3rd of September to the 14th.
That's right, yes.
Yeah, at the Grey Place. And so, very much look forward to seeing your beautiful work, and I'd like to say thank you too for your beautiful gift. Gifted me
My
one
pleasure.
of your paintings.
My pleasure.
Which I'm so, so grateful for, and I will cherish for the rest of my life. So thank you.
You're very welcome. It's been such a pleasure to be here with you. And I'm so glad that I chose to come out here instead of having a Zoom call. This is just really wonderful. Yeah.